Hello everyone, welcome to Aptitude course. So today we are going to discuss lecture 2. So before going to the lecture 2, so let me explain about what we discussed at previous lecture. So previous lecture we already saw different types of number systems and what is the aptitude and what is the importance of that aptitude, and we already saw the conversation. Now we are very comfortable with conversation one system into another system. So commonly we are using 95% of the world we are using decimal number system, that is usual. And in this decimal number system we are not going to return any base value, because we know that all we are using decimal number system, and we did not use this base. And coming to the binary number system and hexadecimal number system, that is mostly used in the electronics, that is computers. And now we are well known about these number systems. So let us discuss in this lecture. What we are going to discuss in this lecture means types of numbers. Now we know very well we are going to using entire this lecture or entire this course decimal number system. Now what is how many types of numbers are there in the decimal number system? Now coming to the arithmetic operations, that is very important, and notations, how we are going to make it a arithmetic operation based on the notations, and what is the notation of the multiplication, division, and so on. Now coming to the another one, we have to see the decimal number. So you have to careful about that. This decimal number is different and decimal number system is different. The decimal number which is one category or which is one type in the decimal number system, and don't confuse that. And now coming to the fractions or fractional number, or we can say a rational number. So we are going to discuss what is the rational number in the different types of number system, and what is the percentage. So there is a link between, or there is a conversation between decimal number, fraction, and percentage. So let us coming to that what types of numbers are there in decimal number system. So mostly here several numbers are there, but coming to the first one, this is the natural one, and it is symbol is capital N. And what is the natural number? So I am going to change ink color, better to change ink color. Okay, so what is the natural number means? The set of numbers which was started from the 1, so 1 2 3 and so on up to infinity. So these numbers we can call it as a natural numbers. Now coming to the whole numbers, and it is symbol is capital W. Now what is the whole number? So in that whole number it will add natural numbers plus another digit will come, that is the another numeral, that is 0, that is nil value. If you started the number system from 0 to 1 2 3 4 and so on, then that is called whole number. Now coming to the integers, so integers we can designated with Q. So what is the integers means? See, if we are in natural numbers and whole numbers, it is the positive side only, and all numbers are the positive numbers. So now coming to the integers, the negative side also will coming into the picture. So if you started with the minus infinity and so on, minus 2, minus 1 and 0 and 1 2 3 and so on infinity, then this set of numbers is called as integers. Now it is very important, a rational number, simply you have to remember as a name itself, there is a ratio, and whenever the numbers we can write it as in the form of P by Q ratio. If the number we can write in the form of P by Q ratio, this type of numbers we can call it as a rational numbers. Okay, so rational numbers, what it is mean? Any number we can write it in the form of P by Q, and here the caution is that the Q is does not equal to 0 and Q should not equal to 0. Okay, now coming to the irrational number, and we could not return any number in the form of P by Q, then that is called as a irrational number. So this is also very important. And coming to the rational numbers and irrational numbers, rational numbers you can simply remember as itself name ratio. We can write it as in a ratio form p by q, and q should not equal to 0. That number is called a rational number. Irrational number, it is we could not written in the form of p by q. Now coming to the what is the examples of irrational number, the pi value is irrational number, and e, that is Euler number, and root 2 and root 3 and root 5 and so on. Now there is a one big difference in the rational number and irrational number. A rational number, irrational number, there is one more point here. This irrational number after decimal point, it could not repeating any value, or it could not follow any pattern. So after decimal point, we will see what is the decimal point in that while we are discussing decimal number. So after decimal point, it does not follow the any pattern. Okay, pattern or repeating. Now coming to the real number. So it's a real number, whatever the set of all these numbers, we can call it as a real number, and it is very important symbol. It is denoted by the capital R. So that means I can make it as a real number, one big group, one set of group. Now I will make it a distinguish between rational and irrational. So these numbers are rational numbers, and these numbers are the irrational numbers, and these numbers are the real numbers. So real numbers we can call it as a set of rational and irrational. Okay, now if you say natural number, for example if you say 4 is, we can call it as a real number, because in rational it will come whole numbers, natural numbers, integers, everything will come. If you zoom into the rational number, then it will come integers, and it will come whole numbers, and it will come natural numbers. See, natural number is a subset of whole number, whole numbers is a subset of integer numbers, and integers is a subset of the rational numbers, and rational number is a subset of real number. So that means all these numbers, all these types of numbers is the subset of real number. Okay, now coming to the imaginary numbers, it is denoted I, that means it is it's completely imagined, because -1 root is it's clearly it is there is no solution here, that is imagined. Something is there and something has the solution, that is purely imagined. So we are not going to bother about this imagined numbers. We are not at all discussing about this imagined numbers in this course. Okay, now coming to the even number, you know very well, even number it will start with the 2, 4 and 6 and 8 and so on. So we can say even numbers, whatever the number is divisible by 2, and if it is not divisible by 2, that is called odd number. So that is 1, 3 and 5 and 7 and 9 and so on. Now coming to the prime number, now it is also very one of the important number, that is prime number is the prime number which is only divisible by a number which is divisible by only 1 and itself. Okay, whatever the number is there, if it is divisible by 1 and it is divisible by itself, that means if you can take the 2, and what is the factors of 2? 1 and 2 only. So the factors of any prime number either 1 or either itself. So now 2 by 1 is equal to 2, it is divisible. 2 by 2 it is equal to 1. So the factors is 1 and 2 only. So that is called a prime number. So a number, it has the 2 factors only. One is 1 and another one is itself, that number itself. Now coming to the decimal number. Now what is the main difference between the rational number and decimal number? Rational number, it is in the q by form. This decimal number, it is also we can written in the p by q form, but it is not exactly equal to p by q form. We can, another number will come here, some x number will come. So in this form of numbers we can call it as a decimal number, and the decimal number, it is not a irrational number. It can be irrational number or it can be rational number. Okay, so we are using whatever the numbers we is using decimal point, we can call it as a decimal number. Let us see what is the main difference between real number, rational number, irrational number and decimal number. Now if you make it as a decimal number, one set of group, in that group there is a rational number and there is a irrational number will come. Now so this irrational number we can call it as a pi is equal to 3.142. You are using decimal point. Now if I can write rational number, it is 2 by 3. Now I can write it this 2 by 3 in the decimal number format, that is 0.667 or 0.6 bar. Okay, now so these both numbers I am writing in the form of decimal number. Decimal number means simply you are using a decimal point. So this is called decimal point. Okay, so that means any number we can make it in the form of decimal point. For example, there is a natural number is 2. I can write it as a in the decimal form 2.0. So that is equal to 2. For example, if the prime number is 3, then I can write it as a 3.0. Now, so what is the main advantage of this decimal number means any number we can write it in the decimal form. That means we can use the decimal point, right? So here one important note is that so 0 is the neither negative integer neither positive integer. So keep it in mind, 0 is neither negative integer and neither positive integer. What is the negative integer? Negative integer means minus infinity to minus 1. And what is the positive infinity? Plus 1 to plus infinity. These are the positive integer and negative integers. Now coming to the 2. 2 is a prime and even number. So keep it in mind, these two has the very important definitions while describing the numbers, because 2 has a very good feature. 2 is a prime number itself, even number, and no even number is a prime number except 2. No even number is a prime number except 2, because all even numbers are not prime numbers, because all even numbers are divisible by 2 and divisible by 1 and divisible by itself. If you take the 4 and 6 and 8 except 2 10, all are divisible by 2, and this 4 has the 1 and 4. Again 2 is the another factor, so now it is 3 factors. So it's not a prime number. Prime number means only 2 factors, either 1 and itself. Okay, now coming to the arithmetic operations and notations. Now we know that addition operation we can denote it with plus symbol. So for example, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Now this equal to will give the result. So result notation, that is the final result, final answer. Now subtraction, 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. Now multiplication, sometimes in computer language they are using asterisk, that is the star symbol, and sometimes it is x. For example, 2 into 3 is equal to 6. Now it is a multiplication operation. Now division, so you can use this forward slash, and it is the division symbol. Either you can use, sometimes they are using this symbol, sometimes they are using this symbol. Now less than, so simply we can make it a, we are writing is L in this form, so less than is like this. So many people they are confusing what is the less than, what is the greater than. So whoever the written is L, so for example if I am writing as L is here, so less than is like this. Okay, so keep it in mind, if you remember L symbol and less than, you can easily remember. So what it is mean actually, the 3 is less than 4. That means 3 is smaller than the 4. So wherever this open side will come, always remember open side is the larger one. Now I can write this one in the greater than form also. 4 is greater than 3. That means 4 is bigger than 3. So that means your open symbol should be larger side. So this open symbol is larger side. 4 is larger, and this open symbol is also larger side. So that means I can write it as a 3 less than 4 or equal to 4 is greater than 3. So that is the difference between greater than and less than. Less than means L, less than. Now coming to the equal to, we are already know it gives the result, and less than or equal. So that means the 3 is less than or equal to x. That means if I am writing is in the form of x, x is equal to either equal 3 or x is equal to either less than 3. So that means we can write it in the either 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because all the numbers is the less than 3. That means it is the greater than 3. So 3 is less than 4, 3 is less than 5, 3 is less than 6, 7, and so on. So that means in the x it will come either 3 or either greater than 3. So now what is the greater than or equal? So that means 3 equal to 3 or 3 is less than 4, 5, 6, so on. Any numbers I can write it. Now it is similar greater than, because the open side it should be in the larger side. Now coming to the percentage. Now there is a one relation between the percentage and decimal. So for example, if 0.66 decimal number is there, I can write it as the 66 percentage. So that means whenever you are converting into the decimal number into the percentage, just multiply into 100, and same thing vice versa. Whenever you are converting into the percentage into the decimal number, just divided by with 100. So keep it in mind. So we will discuss what is the percentage and exponential or power. So 2 to the power of, sometimes they are using 2 to the power of 3 in computers, or you can use 2 to the power of 3. 2 to the power of 3 means you have to write 2 in 3 times in multiplication. 2 into 2 into 2, that is the power 3. Now coming to the factorial. So factorial, for example, if you write it as a 4 factorial, you have to multiply up to 1, 4 to 1. So 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 up to 1. If it is 2 factorial, so 2 into 1. Now, so you know very well decimal numbers and fractions. So decimal numbers and fractions is different, because you have to make it in the fraction form, p by q form. For example, 0.6 is there. I can write it into the, now if I want to eliminate the decimal, after decimal there is a one number is there, so that 0.6 into 10 by 10, because 0.6 into 1 is 1. 0.6 into 1 is 0.6 itself. So 0.6 into 10, it is 6. 6 by 10, 10. Now 2 3 is the 2 5s. So I can write it as a 0.6 decimal number into the 3 by 5 in ratio form, or rational number or fractions. So this is called, we are using decimal point, so that's why we are calling as a decimal number. And we are using fractions, so that is the reason we are calling as a rational number or fractions. Now what is the percentage? So 0.6, if I want converted into the percentage, simply multiply into 100. So that is the 60 percentage. Now coming to the there is a repetition numbers, or repeating patterns, or some following patterns. If I want to write it as a 0.333333 so on, I can write it in the form of 0.3 bar. So bar means it is a repeating number. Now how can I convert it into this repeating number into the ratio form? Simply whatever the decimal point, whatever the number is there, just write down that number divided by how many numbers are there? One number, just write down the 19. So that 0.3 bar is equal to 3 by 9, that is equal to 1 by 3. Now for example, if I want to make it a 0.314, how can I convert it into the fractions? There is a bar is there, 0.314. So first write it as a 314, divided by, so how many numbers have the bar? So 3 numbers, so write down the 3 nines. Now so 3.14 has the bar. How can I write it as a 3.14? 3 plus 0.14, because this is the fractional part and this is the integer part. We can write it as integer part and we can write it as a fractional part. We can call it as a fractional part. And this 0.33 also we can write it as 0 plus 0.3334. Now we know very well how can I convert it into the 0.14. 3 plus now 14 divided by 2 nines, because 2 bars is there. Now for example 0.314 only bar is there, only 14 has the bar. So what we will do, simply 314 minus whichever the bar is not there, just subtract from that whole number, divided by how many numbers have the bar? 2 numbers, so make it as a 2 nines. And how many numbers after the decimal doesn't have the bars? Make it a that many zeros, and one number has the doesn't have the any zero, so make it as a 10. So this is the number 311 divided by 990. So we can check with the calculator too. So we will check 311 divided by 990. See 3 after that 14 is repeating. So hence that is proved it is the correct way to convert it into the repeating numbers or pattern numbers into the ratio forms. Okay, now coming to the solve the questions. Jim brought 100 apples from nearby fruit vendor, but later it was found 5 of them were rotten. It is rotten means it's we can call it as a not ripen or not well. It is bad fruits. Okay, so can you tell fractions? It is make it, we can call it as a degenerated one. Okay, so can you tell fractions as well, decimal of the rotten apples of the total apples? Now here I want to explain marks. So for example, I have scored marks 81 marks out of 100. So teacher is written 81 by 100. That means, so whatever the total, we can write it in the denominator, and whatever the score you are getting as a numerator, that is a score or actual score. We can call it as a actual one, actual and total, numerator and denominator. Now whatever the total apples, now 100, whatever the tell the fractions as well, decimal of the rotten apples to the total apples. This 2 means ratio, so we can call it as rotten apples. How many rotten apples are there? 5. So this 5 by 100 apples, that means 5 apples are the rotten out of 100 apples. So can I convert it into the decimal one? Yes, I can convert. So 5 into 20, so that is 1 by 20. Now how can I convert it into the decimal? I know we know very well 20. Now make it as 1. So 20 times it is 1. So make it as a 0 point, decimal point. Now you can make it another 0. After point many zeros you can make it. So 10 is lesser than 20, again make it. So 0.5, this is the 100 and it is the 0. So 1 by 20 is equal to 0.5. So this is the fractional or ratio number and this is the decimal number. Can I convert it into the percentage? Into 100. So 0.5 into 100. Okay, you can make it as another 0 here, sorry. So 0.05. So this is the 5%. If I want tell in percentage. Now in a class 80 students and 48 students prefer to take the ice cream, and total 80 students and prefer ice cream is 48 students, and the remaining students prefer the soft drinks. So that means how many are the soft drink? So that is the 32. So find the percentage of students who prefer the soft drink. Percentage, how many students are prefer soft drink? 32. And total how many students? 80. So if I want to make it as a percentage, you have to convert it into the decimal form. So 0 point another 0, so 80 into 4, that is 320. 0, so this is the 0.4. that means 40 percentage of the people has the prefer soft drink. Now, so choose following statements as true. So 2.7 is equal not equal to 27 percentage, it is a 270 percentage, so this is wrong. And 2.2 percentage, yeah, it is right. 220 percentage, one is 100. To convert a decimal to percentage, for example, if 0.2 into percentage, that is 20 percentage, that means you have to multiply by 100, not divide by 100, so this is wrong. Now you can make it as a, it's a, if it is decimal value 0.6 and numerator is 75, what we will do? For example, 0.6, how can I into the convert into the rational form or fractions? So 0.6 into 10 divided by 10, so 6 by 10, that is the 3 and 5. Now how much it is the 75? So 5 into how much into the 75? So 75 by 10, 5, that is the 5 1s and 5 5s, so 15. Now I can make it as a 15 into 15, so that means numerator it will come 75, yeah, denominator will come 75, numerator 15 3s are 45, so answer is 45 by 75. See, you have to I can write it as 0.6 into 3 by 5, or I can write it as a 6 by 10, or I can write it as a 45 by 75. If I want to multiply with 15 3s and 15 5s, again 3 by 5 will come. Now that is your task, you can convert it into the decimal numbers, fractions. So now I can solve this question. So total 57 minus 00 divided by, two numbers has the under bar 99 and two numbers doesn't have the bar, but it is after decimal, so I can make it as a 2 zeros. So 57 by 9900. We can check it with calculator. 57 by 990, 57 divided by 990. Okay, see, 57 is repeating. Now it is hence proved, it is, our answer is correct. Yeah, thank you.